if you don't mind, I prefer to move freely. And luckily I have this technology, so I can move freely. I'm very glad, I'm very honored to be here with you today. And I have been told that I can only deliver a speech. I don't have to present slides. Then I have to do slides, so I made up some few slides during the break. But I will prefer to present something before the slides. The main topic of the presentation will be the role of Excellence Awards in creating learning organization. But I have been inspired by the speech given by Dr. Sanjay about the learning organizations and the adaptation part of it. Because actually I believe that to be a learning organization, you have to be an adaptive organization. And to be a learning employee, you have to be an adaptive employee. And I remember something that they have taught us at school, at primary school. You remember the adaptation when they taught us about adaptation of animals. You remember the frog, this cold-blooded animal? If you put a frog in a pot of water, of course the frog will be happy, because a frog in the water, great. Because this animal is a cold-blooded animal, it will adapt with the external environment. So if you start to heat the water gradually, very gradually, it will adapt for each new temperature, and it will not feel the danger that is ahead. So they taught us that you might boil the frog while it can jump, but it will not jump because it is adaptive. But I will use this example to take a learning organization that is not adaptive like frog syndrome. In management, we call this the frog syndrome, to be aware, to be cautious for organization not to have this frog syndrome, because if you are not alert and cautious about external environment, you will not feel the danger that is ahead of you. So you must read and predict the future. Read the indicators and predict the future and to react towards this future. Otherwise, you will be boiled and you will not feel this. So learning organization is an organization that can read the future from the past and reflect on its performance to improve. And by learning from the past, we were discussing this with Dr. Ali and Dr. Peter a while ago. And Dr. Peter asked a question: how to start, where to start? And again, I would like to give you another example, a very simple example about how to start to be in an organization. If you are a decision maker or if you are a performer in an organization, go back to the roots, go back to the simple tools and techniques. I learned a few years back when I started reading and researching about knowledge management that the US Army is using a very simple tool for learning as organizations and for knowledge management. It's called After Action Review, AAR. Simply, if they do any mission, any task, after completing the task, they sit and review the task. What went wrong, what went well, and why? What are the lessons learned, and how we can utilize this so next time when we do a same mission or a similar mission, we use the information gathered and the knowledge gathered. Very simple. So let's take this example, this conference, this very successful, very prestigious conference. This is the first conference. I'm sure that a quality and learning guru like Dr. Ala, after the end of this day, this exact day, not tomorrow, he will sit with his team and see what went wrong, what went well, how we can do better next year for the second. Aren't you, Dr. Ala?
That's already being done now.
So this is learning. So next year, the conference, I'm sure, will be better. Of course, this is good, but it will be better and better. This is learning. This is very simple. So when we are talking about learning organization, don't complicate things. It's easy. I believe in simplicity. After action review is a very powerful, very simple tool to learn and to improve your performance. Now, go back to the formal presentation. I'm here today to tell you about a success story from the government of Dubai. I honorably represent Dubai Government Excellence Program. I am the Quality and Excellence Advisor for the Dubai Excellence Program. This program has been there, for those who don't know about the program, has been here for 15 years. It started in 1997. I will give you a brief about the program. The program is under the umbrella of the Executive Council, Government of Dubai. The role of the program, Dubai Government Excellence Program in general, and in brief, we develop models and criteria for excellence in the government performance in general. Under the umbrella of the Executive Council, we have 30 government entities. So we are talking about Dubai Police, Dubai Municipality, Dubai Economic Development Department, Dubai Ambulance. All these government agencies, authorities, and departments are working under the umbrella of the Executive Council. And Dubai Government Excellence Program is a program responsible for developing criteria for excellence. We have 20 categories for government excellence, covering all aspects of performance. I'm talking about organizations, and I'm talking about employees. Our role as a program is to develop the models and criteria. And we do this by doing two tasks. We search the world for best practices, best models and criteria for excellence. And we don't only translate them into Arabic, we nationalize them. So when we have the excellence model, for example, I'm going to show you soon. The excellence model is a world famous model for excellence called the EFQM. You have heard about EFQM excellence model. We have used the same model, but we have nationalized it. We have inserted certain criteria and sub-criteria, certain requirements that suits our nature of work at Dubai government. So there are additional requirements, there are certain terminology only used in Dubai. So when we say develop models, we mean develop models that suit to work in Dubai. Participation in itself in the program is a learning exercise. Why? Because every year or every 2 years, the cycle of the assessment, government departments have to, it's obligatory, it's not voluntarily to participate in the program. Based on His Highness decree, he said excellence is obligatory for the government. It's not a choice. All government agencies should follow excellence path. So every 2 years, all government agencies in the government of Dubai have to participate. And of course, by participating itself and by building in the knowledge that they accumulate based on their performance, they are learning. Because every 2 years they have to, again, recall all their achievements and their performance based on excellence. So to present their case, they have to convince the assessors that we have done so and so and so. They have to show results. They have to show evidence of performance. So participation in itself in the Excellence Award is a learning. Please give me a warning when I'm exceeding your time. I have 3 minutes, 4 minutes, please, 5? Okay, 5. Negotiation skills. So we started from 3 to 5 minutes. Enablers and the results. This is another part where learning occurs. Because as you see, as in the model itself, we have enablers that lead to results. As an organization, if you have leadership, if you have process management, if you have resource management, you will have good results and so on and so on. So this is learning, because it's like farming and harvesting. If you want to have good harvest, you should take care of your plants. So it's a learning, because you wait for the results based on what you have done as performance. Then, there is a requirement under leadership, back to the excellence model. You see leadership requirement. Under leadership, I told you under each criteria there are certain sub-criteria. Under leadership, there is a requirement for leading change. And as Dr. Singh said, it's about learning is about changing to the better. To the better. We learn as organizations and as individuals to transform, to be better. So there is a requirement under leadership in the excellence model for leaders of the organization to lead the change, to lead the transformation of their organization and their performance. There is in the model a requirement for dependency on knowledge to build organizational strategy. Under the second criteria, strategy, excellent strategy, when assessors come, they ask for your strategy. They are not satisfied if you give them a very good, very heavy, very comprehensive strategy unless you have built this strategy based on what? On knowledge that you have about your performance, about your past performance, about you have learned about your customer requirements, you know your environment. So it is an excellent strategy only if it is based on learning about your environment and learning about your performance. Another role of DGB, our Excellence Awards, that there is a requirement, direct sub-criteria for knowledge management. So to be an excellent organization, you have to have knowledge management as an approach, as a strategy. There are under each this knowledge management criteria, there are certain sub-criteria starting from you have to have a knowledge management strategy, then you have to identify your knowledge gap, where are you, where you want to be, what do you need to achieve, until you reach to be a learning organization that have knowledge content and that can utilize this knowledge content. I simply look at knowledge management and learning organization as two areas. As organizations, they should work on improve, enrich their knowledge content. Firstly, by learning from its performance. Secondly, by learning from external. So I am working on my knowledge content. Secondly, I'm using this knowledge content to improve performance, to better future, to plan for the future better. So these are two areas. Enrich the knowledge content, use the knowledge content for improvement. This is learning. There is a requirement for partnership and knowledge transfer between partners under excellence model. And finally, the logic for assessment. As I told you, we develop the criteria and the model, we communicate this, then we assess. The logic for assessment is called radar. I'm not going to bother you with details, but the radar depends on plan, do, check, act, which is a very famous, you know, this Deming cycle or Stewart cycle. And I think it's the core, the heart of all improvement, movement all over the world. It's very simply, plan, do, check, act. You plan for improvement, you conduct your plans, you check if you are on the right track, you act based on the results of the check. Very simple. And the radar is built on this very simple cycle. Plan, do, check, act. And this is learning. Because you plan, you do, you check your operation. Based on the results of the check, you learn, and then you act based on what you have learned. Again, this is a very simple tool for learning. And another item in the radar called causality. Again, causality is learning, because causality in the radar means, did you achieve this result based on performance, or it happens that you haven't? بالبركة, زي ما بيقولوا العربي. It happened. or it is deliberately. You have achieved the excellent result deliberately. So you know that you have done so and so and so, and you have achieved this result. As I told you, these are examples of what we do annually. Dubai Government Best Practices Forum. This every year we hold this forum where ex-winners of DGB come and share their knowledge. How did we win? And of course, His Highness is always there in the forum. Another venue is Dubai Government Exhibition. Where we have this for the first time last year, and we are planning to have it every 3 years, where all government departments show their performance and their achievements. I think I am on time if I say thank you and for your patience.